Well, welcome back to Talking Schmitt, Besties. How are you today? I'll go first. I'm just had a mental breakdown because these chairs that I got for the pod area in my apartment are the same color as the wall, and I cannot fathom a world where I return them. I can't imagine carrying them down 3 flights of stairs to God knows where to return them to God knows who. And now I just have an apartment that's monochrome. I look like I'm living in a brick and I'm sitting on a brick and I'm just becoming a brick. My pants are brick colored. Everything is brick colored except for my tears. If you notice, I have under eye patches on now because I was just crying. No, I wasn't crying. But I was very upset because I tried to shoot this and take one. Was me realizing that it looks like I'm floating, and my chair is the same color as my wall, and that's a colossal fuck up, and I'm depressed about it because I was really excited about these chairs because they're these like luxurious, what the fuck is that word? Why can't I say it today? That sounds like word salad. Luxurious orange color, like a burnt orange color. That's so beautiful, but guess what? My floors are burnt orange and so are my walls, so I am just living in a burnt orange ball. I'm the burnt orange ball man. Anyway, besties, hope your Monday's off to a better start than mine. Well, all things considered, I'm doing great. I really am. I love New York City. Can we talk about New York City? Oh, also, before we start talking about how much I love New York City, let's talk about the fact I just booked some dates in Phoenix. I'm going to be in Phoenix, Arizona at Stand Up Live on July 18th and 19th. I'm doing a quick little weekend. If you guys want to come see my new hour, I'm having so much fun with it. I am eviscerating the situation I was just in. And that is the thing I just want you guys all to know. I want you to know, and while it looks like I am recording from inside of a box under a bridge, I have words of wisdom for you, which is that you can hurt a comedian in life. You can, but I wouldn't. I just wouldn't because we are going to get the last laugh, and that's what we're going to do in Phoenix is get the last laugh. So if you guys want to come hang out, go to my website, BrittanySchmitt.com, and get your tickets to come see me. I have 3 shows on the 18th and 19th. I think there's 2 shows, the 18th, one on the 19th. Who knows? None of my business. My schedule is never any of my business, you guys. I one time was at a show and I started crowd working about Texas, and I was like, oh, Texas, it's really just fucking strange here, isn't it? You guys about Texas, whatever the fuck I was saying, and everyone was looking at me with blank stares, and I was like, what is going on here? And they're like, you are in Oklahoma City. Oh, and I got a delivery. 1 second. That delivery system is going to be the death of me, in case you guys care. Amazon comes, by the way, all hours of the night. They come at 3 a.m., 4 a.m., and they ring that bell, and I'm just like, I don't need my dry shampoo that bad, okay? I'll have another day of greasy hair. Like, read the room. The room is asleep. Let me sleep. Let me rest. And it's such a startling sound, right? Every time I hear it, my cortisol spikes. I don't like that aspect of being in New York City. I don't like that I don't have a doorman. That feels like I didn't realize it was going to be such a problem because I never lived here before. But what that means is if I'm not home to receive a package when the little bell rings, I don't get the package, and it just goes back to the warehouse or like the shipping center, FedEx or UPS. And it's like, that's fine if it was indeed just dry shampoo all the time. But what's getting shipped right now are like couches and shelves and shit like that. Also, I'm furious about these chairs, the rage that burns within me. Pretty significant, not gonna lie. I was really excited about these chairs. Anyway, listen, nothing matters. We're all gonna die at the end of the day. Am I really gonna remember that I even had chairs that matched my walls in New York City? I'm really not. What I am gonna remember about New York City is what happened to me yesterday. I had to go to Ramoa. Oh, the birds are back. Hang on, I have to feed the birds or they're gonna get mad at me. In case you're wondering what codependent relationships have taken the place of the relationship that I was just in, the codependent relationship is the relationship I have made with the New York City birds. All right. When I was laying on my air mattress when I first moved in, I was just a little like, did I make the right move? Is this the right call? And a cardinal landed on my fire escape. And I think cardinals are often spirit animals. Like they come from, I think there's like some significant research on this. I don't think I'm the brainchild of this. Cardinals are spirit animals. So I think maybe it was my mom or my grandma or Biggie or whoever just reassuring me that I did the right thing. But I was like, oh my gosh, I should get a bird feeder. And then there's going to be cardinals here all the time. Wrong. It's... I'm getting bullied by birds. I got a little bird feeder, and there's these little shit birds, little tousled. That's a word I've used before, and it's never been real, and it never will be. But I'm going to continue to use it with their tousled feathers. Like they've just got the shit kicked out of them on the subway, and they come and they stand on my fire escape and they yell at me until I fill their little bird dish up. And the problem is the bird dish wouldn't keep getting destroyed. But now the pigeons have found out about it, and there's big old batty pigeons. And when I tell you every bird that comes here looks like they just flew out of a homeless shelter. I mean, it is the most rough and tumble looking birds. There's been nothing even remotely resembling a cardinal, but I love them. I love them. I love these ugly little shitty birds. And you know what? I like the pigeons too. I like all birds. I've reached the big old age of I love a bird. There's a turning point in one's life when they start to appreciate birds. And I don't know what it is. You just get captivated by their majesty. And I remember right after I got divorced, I was dating this guy. He was like a few years older than me, and he was so into birds. He knew the name of every species. He would go bird watching. Wow, species and luxurious are words I cannot say today. He knew every species. He would go bird watching. And I was like, this fucking dork. But he had a big old dong. So I was like, whatever. I don't give a fucking... Whatever, dude. Call me a cardinal and fuck me doggy style. Like, I do not care. But he was just like really into birds, and I was like, this guy's a fucking weirdo. And now I'm really into birds. And look, a bird was outside just yelling at me, being like, where's the food, bitch? Because every day I fill up their little jar and little dish, and every day it's gone by like 4 p.m. And it's kind of cool. I don't know. It's like a little ecosystem of shitbirds outside of my fire escape, outside of my window. I'm obsessed with my windows. I feel like I'm living in the trees. I'm on the 3rd floor of the apartment, so I'm exactly at treetop level, and I'm just obsessed with this place. I didn't even know if I would like New York. I love New York. I am obsessed. So anyway, I was telling you, I was going to Rimowa yesterday, which, by the way, what a scam. The scam of all scams is the Rimowa suitcase. They're like, it's the last piece of luggage you're ever going to have to own. Because they claim to be unbreakable. I had mine for fucking 6 weeks and it broke. The wheel busted off it when I moved here. So when I was coming here with 4 suitcases and I never needed a wheel to work more, it broke. When I arrived at LaGuardia, the wheel on my Rimowa was broken. You know what wasn't broken? My Samsonite, my swammy Samsonite that I've had forever, which is just like an $80 suitcase that is the highest quality suitcase I've ever had, and I could pack a dead body in that bitch. And my Toomey that I've had forever. My Toomey looks like it went to war. It is lime green. It has more sticker goo on it than a fucking one of my trapper keepers in middle school. It looks like shit, but it is a great suitcase. This Rimowa, we fucking pop our pussy for this luxury suitcase. It breaks in 6 weeks. And then I have to, with a broken wheel, I can't wheel it across town. I now have to get an Uber to go to Rimowa, which is a 50. By the way, Ubers here, the price gouging in this city, I'm ready to call the cops. Like, it's $50 to go anywhere in an Uber. The subway system is fine. I'm figuring it out, but I'm not like so comfortable that I'm like, oh, I'm going to take my Rimowa to Soho. I'm not like there yet emotionally. Mostly because I don't want to bother people by having a suitcase on a train, even though I know people have suitcases on the train. I just like, I don't know. I'm self-conscious about like getting in people's way, and like New Yorkers are so intense. I don't want them to get mad at me. Anyway, whatever. Long story, long as fuck. I go to Rimowa, drop it off. They're like, "Whoa, this is a brand new bag. We don't know how it broke." And I'm like, "Yeah, gee, me neither." They're like, "Are you going anywhere soon?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm going to France on Friday," which I'll tell you guys about that later. That was like a last minute decision I made. I'm being like borderline insane. I don't know if I'm having a spiritual awakening or a manic episode, but either way, it's none of my business. I'm going to Saint Tropez, bitch. Mama's getting a spray tan. She's throwing a bikini on, and she's going to go shake her ass at Nikki Beach, all right? Because I think the cure for anything is France. Always. It's always France. France is just a nurturing place for my soul. Anytime I'm going through anything, I run away. I usually run away to Paris. I'm only spending 2 days in Paris. We're going to go to Nice, as I've been calling it. Nice, very nice. My friends don't love that. We're going to go to Nice. We're going to go to Saint-Tropez. We're going to go to Ez. And then we're going to go to Paris. And that's that. Anyway, so I dropped the suitcase off at Ramoa. Don't worry, you guys. I'm not losing my train of thought. I was like, I'm going to walk back. It's been beautiful in New York the last couple of days. The weather is perfect. It's like 75, 76, sunny, little breeze. Perfect, perfect, perfect. So I get my little decaf latte. Mama loves a decaf latte, which, by the way, I watched her pour the latte. I've never watched anyone pour a latte before, and this is going to let you know how stupid I can be, and I will admit to that. A latte is pretty much a cup of milk. Did we know this? Did everyone know that we're just drinking milk? Like, I clown my dad because he drinks out of the container, like vitamin D milk every morning. I'm like, disgusting. But that's low-key what I've been doing. I watched her make it, and it was just like all milk. And I was like, wait, where's the other stuff? She's like, it's literally 1 shot of espresso. And I was like, oh, not me just drinking whole fat milk all these mornings thinking I'm doing something. And here's the thing about me. I'm such an addict, right? I need like the placebo effect. I need to feel alive. I need to just feel like I'm a part of something. Like the ritual to me is so important, which is why I quit drinking caffeine a while ago. But I still love the ritual. Like I still have my little coffee maker in my apartment. I wake up, I make myself a decaf latte. My lattes are much different than the store-bought ones. I do like 2 shots of espresso and then whipped milk, and it's more of like a half and half situation, foamed milk. And that's, you know what, now that I say it out loud, that's not a latte. That's something else. I don't know what it is. Again, none of my business. Nothing I do is any of my business. I'm just doing it. Anyway, you guys are like, she's going to forget the point. She's not going to get there. Don't worry. I'm getting there. So I'm walking back and I'm feeling myself. I have this cute little outfit on, right? This butter colored cream vest, a real lesbian choice of mine, a real don't fuck with me men choice of mine. I was like, strap my tits down like they are right now in a sports bra, duct tape my tits down, put a little lesbian vest on, and go for a stroll in jorts and a vest. I mean, did it look cute when it was together? It did, but it didn't look like I played for the team that would take dick. I'll be honest. I was like the cutest little lesbian in fucking Soho. I was living my best life. And then one of the hottest men I've ever seen in my entire life walks by me. And I was like, certainly he's going to just pretend I'm dead or not acknowledge me. And he's on a phone call and he turns his head to say in my ear, good morning. And I was like, oh, hi. But he's walking this way, I'm walking that way. And so I was like, oh, that's just going to be like a cute little passing, right? I turn around, I do a double take, which it's been a long time since Mama's done a double take. Like someone's got to be really fucking hot. And he was doing a double take at the same time. And he was like, let me call you back. Hangs up his phone call and is like, good morning. He has the most New York accent of all time. He's tall. He's handsome. He has dark hair, piercing blue eyes. Just stunning. Just a stunning man. And I'm like, oh, I love New York City. And he said, I'm going to get a haircut. After I get a haircut, do you want to grab food? And I was like, I'm really busy today. And I am. I was really busy. He's like, I'm really busy today. I'm really busy the next few days. And then I leave for France. And he was like, all right, well, he's like, let me get your phone number. I give him my phone number. And he's like, are you sure you don't have time for a slice? Like, I'll just a quick slice. And I was like, I'm slammed. He's like, but I want you to be slammed with something else. And I was like, oh, not this man trying to seal the deal in under 45 minutes. It was a level of testosterone and masculinity I haven't encountered in so long, because I lived in LA, the land of the soy boys, the land of the, is he gay or is he gay? Because he's fucking gay. Like, that is what I'm used to, men being more obsessed with themselves than with women, not shooting their shot. Not like, this city is filled with testosterone, and it feels dangerous and exciting all at the same time. And now I just, I didn't have sex with him because I was like, that's not appropriate behavior. That's not something that someone's on a healing journey would do. It feels like a hard detour from a healing journey. And I will tell you that much is that I'm just not ready and I don't want to. So I'm not going to. And I will be ready soon. I was actually talking to Theo about this because I went down to Nashville, which I'm going to tell you more about this in the Patreon because some of it's tea. But I went down to Nashville and there was this guy that was hitting on me down there, and you know, he's really cool and he's a friend of Theo's, and I was like, I don't think so, like my heart's still broken, you know, I need to like heal a little more. And he was like, well, don't take the rest of your life healing, honey. And that was such good advice because it's such a different experience having to heal from a relationship that ended that had truly nothing to do with you. Like, I don't think there's a ton of like, I need to like reflect and like, here's the thing. I do need to reflect and understand why I attracted someone like that, why I allowed someone like that, to, I don't want to say anything negative about the relationship because it happened for a reason and I know that. But like the only thing I really need to look at is like, why did my body tell me so clearly that that was not a match and I ignored it and I went full steam ahead? And why did I think that's the healing I need to do. It's more, why did I ignore my body? Why did I ignore my gut? Why did I ignore them many times? He so clearly let me know he was not my person, and I let him convince me that he was. That's all. I don't think there's like a ton of like, oh, I'm like some broken, shattered fucking piece of shit person. Like, I don't have like such a heavy heart anymore. Honestly, I feel pretty good about everything. I feel at peace with everything. I feel like it all happens for a reason. Everything happens for a reason. And unfortunately, I think the reason is going to be like some of the best comedy I've ever written in my life. Unfortunately, it's just really going to be a banger of an hour. But I just really needed and appreciated that advice of don't spend too much time healing. It's like you don't want to keep yourself in the misery and the pity and the sadness of a breakup. When ultimately in the relationship, you didn't do anything wrong, you know? And I think there's different lengths of time and healing for people in different levels of relationships. And I would call that a level 1 relationship. I mean, I thought it was a level 10. I for sure thought it was a level 10, but I think it was a level 1. I think for whatever reason, I got twisted upside down and backwards, and I thought it was a much more impactful and meaningful relationship than it ever was. And I think it was just there for a brief period of time to teach me something, and I think I learned the lessons. And you know, one of the big ones is like, do I love myself enough to walk away? And the answer is yes. And so it's exciting to me because I feel emotionally open to dating, which is like a good place to be in. Am I downloading the apps? No. Am I running to that guy's house to fuck him after meeting him on the street? No, I'm not doing insane things. I'm not actively trying to get my feelings hurt again. What I'm doing is going to Saint-Tropez. I'm just going to go to the south of France and shake my ass, babe. And I think, you know what? In its own sense, that is healing. And is it a good financial decision? That's a different conversation completely, and one I don't really want to have with you guys, because I did notice someone commented, they're like, how do you afford 2 rents and blah, 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 blah. And someone said plastic surgery too. I haven't had plastic surgery. I've had injections out the ass and lasers and shit, but I've never had plastic surgery. Not yet. I mean, I'm open to it. But someone was like, how do you afford all this in Trump's economy? And girlfriend, I don't. Bestie, let me sit you down and tell you a secret right now. I fucking don't. I don't know anyone who is. I'm so fucking lucky that I had a really big fat career in advertising before I got into comedy, because I was able to save money. And let me tell you, I have decimated my savings. It is in smithereens in Palm Beach. My savings account is in smithereens in Palm Beach. I'll tell you what, I have spent more money this year than I'm comfortable with admitting, between Biggie's end of life surgeries and moving twice and getting no support financially from the fucking loser bitch I was dating. I mean, I'm hanging on by a fucking thread right now. But here's the thing. I have faith. I have a ton of faith that something amazing is going to happen. I keep waking up every day and I'm like, something amazing is going to happen. And I'm not even trying to brainwash myself. I really actually believe that. You guys know me. You know I'm not like Miss Optimistic. You know I'm not the bubbliest bitch in the bunch. But I just have this feeling energetically of alignment that everything is happening exactly the way it's supposed to. I've had more synchronicity and meetings and opportunities and things come up in the few weeks I've been in New York than came up in the past year, or maybe more, And it's like things that are going to amount to nothing. Like I got an audition for this TV show and it's a bunch of 20 somethings that live in a 1-bedroom that has 6 rooms. And it's like 6 roommates living in a giant 1-bedroom apartment, whatever. And I go to audition for it. And I'm like, literally, I could have given birth to half of the people auditioning here. Like, yes, I would have been teen mom. I would have had them at 15, but I could actually be their moms. And I took that audition knowing nothing's going to come of it, but I'm like, why not? Like, let's just go have some fun. Let's go audition for the role we know we're not right for. Let's just energetically like show the universe that we're going to show up and we want to do this thing. And, and here's the thing. At the end of the day, when I was looking around that waiting room, I was like, my injector is going to be thrilled that we got this audition. Dr. Eric Anderson is going to be doing backflips that we even got in this room, because when I tell you they were all between 18 and 26, maybe at the very, very oldest, and then me, the big old age of 37, I was sitting there like, this isn't going to happen. But I love that I'm here, and energetically, like, I'm going to show the universe where I want to be and what I want to do. And there's just been a ton of synchronicity in New York. I'm excited for all the stage time that I'm going to get. I'm just like so genuinely excited to figure out this new hour. I did it in Raleigh and I did it in Nashville, and I loved the Raleigh show. Like, I thought I blew the fucking roof off Raleigh. We had so much fun. It felt like a tour de force. It was so fun. And then Nashville was fine, but I was running on 1 hour of sleep, so I was exhausted. I did not sleep in Raleigh at all. I was staying at this A-loft. The bed was horribly uncomfortable. The pillows felt like a bunch of pebbles. I was like, is someone gonna come beat me with this? Are there bars of soap in here? Am I in a prison yard? Are you gonna jump me in? Am I gonna get raped in the ass? Is that what's going on here? None of that was going on. It was just a bad bed, a shitty hotel, and that's all. And so it kind of robbed me of my peace of mind for the Nashville show. Everyone that went loved it so much. I didn't share that experience, but I'm glad everyone else had fun. It's really an interesting thing when you're trying to metabolize heartbreak and pain and trauma and turn it into comedy. And I've said this before, where there's audiences are so emotionally intelligent, they can tell if you're okay. And I think in Raleigh I was okay because I had slept well. I was so excited to be there. I was like, we're gonna turn this shit, we're gonna turn this trauma into some fucking great comedy. And I was so excited about it. And then in Nashville, because I was running on no sleep, and by the way, running on no sleep, I know it's a torture technique, and it should be, because oh my God, a lack of sleep is the devil's work. And I have been having a tough time sleeping because I'm on a busy street in Chelsea. And yeah, it's been a tough adjustment for my body, for my physical body, not to mention my emotional body, not to mention I'm actually going back down on my Lexapro. I had gone up when I was in Palm Beach because I was so fucking miserable, and I was really handling the situations that were being thrown at me not well. And so I went up to 10 milligrams when I was in Palm Beach. And then after talking to my therapist about it, I just decided to go back down to 5 milligrams. And one of the side effects of that, of going back down, is insomnia and anxiety. And I've been having like this crazy body anxiety where I feel like my soul is gonna pop out of my toes. Like, it's like there's like this like pressure of just like this well of anxiety. But I've read into it, this is all temporary. This is all part of the process of just getting back down to 5. And I just felt like more myself when I was on 5. I think 10 really kind of numbed me out. honestly, I just have no idea who the fuck I was when I was living in Palm Beach. Like that version of me, I'm not real proud of. I don't really know what to say. There's going to be amends I have to make. I made a fucking mess, emotionally, and were some things done wrong to me? Yeah, absolutely. But does that mean that you get to like go kick a fucking fit and make a mess and drag people to hell? No. I'm just like not proud of the version of myself that I was there, and I can tell that when I'm here I'm going to become a version of myself that I'm really excited about. So I think things are trending in the right direction. And then I had a total like aha god moment in Nashville where, okay, so Dave Attell was working in the big room and I was in the lab, which is the side room. And Dave Attell is an interesting part of my comedy journey in that he is the person who introduced me to stand-up comedy. I wasn't super aware it existed. So this is what I think the gateway, the pipeline for most of us millennials was into comedy. Dane Cook. All my friends were like, rah, 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 we love Dane Cook. I saw Dane Cook and I was like, whoa, this is like crazy. What an electric and cool career. And then I remember I was like, I like Dane Cook. So I was like, I'm going to see where else Dane Cook is. And Dave Attell had the Insomniac tour, and it was Dane Cook, Dave Attell, Greg Giraldo. I got my hands on that DVD. And when I say I probably watched it 100 times, it was so profound to me. And Dane Cook was on the back burner. I didn't give a fuck about Dane Cook anymore. Dave Attell and Greg Giraldo were so special to me. I thought Greg Giraldo was a fucking genius. He made me laugh harder than anyone has ever made me laugh. When he died, I was so sad, but I had no idea I could be a stand-up, right? I just saw these guys doing something that was cool and funny, and I remember there was a darkness about Greg Giraldo and Dave Attell that I really gravitated to. I remember Dane Cook being like light and fluffy and like la 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 la, and Dave and Greg Greg was super fucking intelligent. Dave also highly intelligent, but there was just like this darkness to them that I really gravitated to. And so I was leaving my show in the lab in Nashville, and I was talking to these guys outside of the main room, and they're like, "Oh, did you meet Dave?" And I was like, "No, but I don't know him, so I'm not gonna like go in there." And they're like, "No, he wants to meet you." And so they took me in, and he's like, "Oh, hey, I'm Dave. I love this joke of yours. Like, this is so smart. This is so funny. Do you want to do a spot on my show tomorrow night?" And I just had a moment where I was like, would you look at God? It was so profound to me, and I'm like getting emotional because I think there's just like a little girl version of me that's sitting on my dad's floor in Waterford, Wisconsin, watching the Insomniac tour, thinking like, these guys are rock stars. Their jobs are the coolest jobs in the world. I can't imagine a life like that. And now for this person to have the generosity of spirit to go look at who's performing in the lab, look at my stuff, have a joke of mine to reference when we meet, and to just be so generous and kind was really, I felt like a God wink. It was God being like, you're doing the right thing. You're in the right place at the right time, and everything is going to be good. And then I did his show, and it was great. And I felt so bad because he like calls comedians up on stage after a show, and I couldn't stay because I had to go grab Theo from the airport. He was coming back from the Mexico game, and he was at like a World Cup game in Mexico, and I had to go grab him. And like, I just felt bad because I couldn't stay and I couldn't do the thing. And he had invited me to dinner, after the Friday night, like after, we did a show, and I felt bad that I couldn't show up in the capacity that I wanted to as a comedian, but like, I just felt so deeply honored that he took the time to be so kind. And it was just one of those moments where I'm like, all right, and we're going to keep going. We're going to keep going. This career is so fucking, can be dog eat dog and hard as fuck. And just like when you're on the road alone and you don't know, where you are or what you're doing, why you're doing it, what's the purpose of all of this. And then there are just little moments of synchronicity that make you realize, oh no, everything is happening the way it's supposed to. Everything is happening. Everything happens for a reason, and you're exactly where you're supposed to be. And I think that was just a really nice moment for me to have. I actually saw something the other day that really made me laugh that I want to tell you guys about, which is that the final step of healing is becoming a bitch. And I really resonated with this, right? Because I have done, and I'm, by the way, I'm not saying I'm at the final steps of healing. I just had a meltdown about the color of my chair. And I'm still having a meltdown about it. By the way, I'm looking at the feedback on the camera and I'm like, I cannot believe this chair is the same color as the wall. I'm going to cry. Anyway, I think the final step of healing is being a bitch. I really do. Because I think that you have to be so boundaried, to be able to accept that you're going to be the villain in people's story. The people who are not willing to admit what they did to you or how they might have impacted you, they need to make you the villain. And I think we all do this. And I always try, and whenever I'm being accusatory about someone making me the villain, I look at times where I have made other people the villain, and I'm not perfect. My hands are not clean in this either. I think it's human nature to try and rewrite stories so that we're not the bad guy. So I don't think anyone has, a mental disorder or they're a bad person if they're trying to rewrite a narrative where they're not the bad guy. But I do think it's pertinent to understand that you have to be okay with being the villain. You have to be okay with being the bad guy in some people's story, because they are not going to have the accountability or the culpability to be the villain. And they're not going to have the growth or the maturity to take accountability and apologize and admit, who they were in the story for real. And I think people are going to think you're a fucking bitch. If you stand up for yourself, if you speak the truth, if you say what's right, or what's right in your eyes, it can be wrong in their eyes, right in their eyes, or wrong, you know what I'm saying? It can be wrong in their eyes and right in your eyes. There is no real, there's an overall sense of morality, right? But there is no real right and wrong. We're all varying shades of everything. But I just do think that you have to be okay with being a bitch. And you have to be okay. And this is something I've been struggling with. This is why I'm saying it to you guys, because every time I say anything out loud, I'm usually struggling with it. I don't like that there's a version of the story where I'm a fucking villain. I don't like that I can't explain my side of the story to people who have painted a different picture of me. But the reality is, if they didn't ask for my side of the story, then the picture that was painted to them is the one that they wanted to accept. So you have to be able to accept that you're the fucking bad guy in a lot of people's stories. And you're not, the people pleaser in you is not going to be able to make everyone love you, care about you, see your side, think you're right. This is something you have to let go of, right? And spiritually, one of the most evolved things we can be is not concerned with what people view us as. The perception of the outside world is something that is none of our business. Oh God, it gives me a fucking heart attack. It gives me an actual fucking heart attack every time I have someone at my door. But yeah, all I was saying is you have to be okay with being the bad guy in some people's stories, this unhealthy obsession with everyone knowing your truth, your version of events, this, that, and the third. It's none of my business. At the end of the day, what you think of me is your business. And, the greatest evolution of self is to not care about the perception, to not care about what the fuck people think of you, and to genuinely not care. Not to pretend that you don't care, but to genuinely not care, not be bothered, not be concerned by. Because I had something plaguing me recently where I know a story going around about me is not true. And that makes me furious. But at the end of the day, everyone gets to tell their own story, and everyone gets to have their own version of events, and the people in their circle and in their lives are going to believe to be true their version of events, and that's okay. That's okay. At the end of the day, it all comes out in the wash, and if it doesn't come out in the wash, it comes out in the rinse, bitch. All right? So just let God take care of everything. Let karma do its thing. Because like I've said a million times, karma doesn't miss a fucking doorstep, okay? Karma does not miss a fucking doorstep. And And that's that. And that's all, folks. That's it on that. I think we all just have to be okay with being the bitch. We got to be okay with being the bitch. And some people people are going to paint you as the villain because they cannot take accountability. And that's okay. Like, what is someone really going to do? Go around and be like, oh my God, not with her anymore because I cheated on her. No, of course not. They have to invent a new story. And you know who doesn't participate in reality? People with mood disorders. People with mood disorders like narcissism and bipolar don't participate in reality. So, also, there's a huge ego component too, right? There's a huge ego component of us wanting the world to see and perceive us a certain way and knowing that certain information will damn or bastardize the version of ourselves that we want the world to believe we are. So you just gotta let it roll, babe. Let it roll, besties. I will say this. I didn't think at this big age in my life I would be using eeny, meeny, miny, mo so much to make decisions. You guys, it is making most of my decisions. Eeny, meeny, miny, most of my decisions. Saint-Tropez, yes or no? Fucking yes. Fuck the guy on the street. Nope. What to eat? Yep. It is shocking how little, what's the word I'm looking for? It's a word and it's right there and it's on the tip of my tongue, but I don't know it because autonomy is not the right word. How few decision-making skills I really have. I think my nervous system is so shocked from all the changes right now that I'm like, I cannot decide between sushi and pizza. That's a crazy thing to ask of a girl. So now a lot of it is eeny, meeny, miny, mo. And someone was like, well, that's like formulaic and you can decide what, but I haven't figured out the formula yet. I haven't figured it out and I don't want to because it's making all my decisions and it's doing a pretty good job. So if you're in a jam, just use eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Tell Alexa to flip a coin. Just do, leave it to fate. I think, I guess eeny, meeny, miny, mo is not fate, whatever. Anyway, I will say going to Nashville really was a big turning point for me. I felt like very healed after that. There's something about my friendship with Theo that just feels so nurturing and special. And, he's just so kind and wonderful and caring and also like funny and, can make a joke of anything. So I just feel so lucky to have that friendship and to have him to kind of keep me in check. I'm going to talk a little bit more about Nashville on the Patreon because some fun things did happen, but they don't feel like they're for public consumption. Even though I've had the argument that Patreon is public, I will die on a hill that it's not. And then their counter argument was like, are you telling me that Netflix isn't public because you can pay for Netflix? And I was like, you're making a really good point, but I'm still going to die on this fucking hill. I'm still going to fucking die on this hill that people have to pay to hear me talk additional shit. It's not just out there. You got to pay the big bucks. And by the way, all of you who have joined the Patreon, I love you so much. I feel like we're a little family. I'm so grateful for you. And I'm so grateful to have that like portion of our week to just hang out with each other and, talk more shit. And I have some like juicy fun stuff for today, but I told you I'm being a healed bitch. I'm doing my best to be as healed as possible and not talk shit on the podcast anymore. How am I doing? You guys can tell me later. I will say this. Did I say this already? The price gouging in New York City is out of control. It's absolutely out of control. I was going to get groceries delivered the other day because I wanted to make this healthy soup before I go to Saint-Tropez. I was like, I need my waistline. I can't find it. Has anyone seen it? Turns out, no, nobody's seen it. But I was going to make this soup and I was on Instacart shopping at this place called Westside Market. Bay leaves were $13. I'm like, you mean the mythical things we throw in soup and nobody's sure if they actually do anything at all? Those are $13. Are you guys on fucking crank? What are you smoking and can I have some? And then eggs, $15. And I was like, hey man, do you want to shit in my fucking mouth? I don't know. This feels illegal. Everything feels illegal. I'm going to call the police and or Mumdani because I probably can get his like private line. Like this is, who can afford to live here? Who can afford this shit? It's crazy. And so I didn't want to, but I didn't want to schlep again. But Trader Joe's is my saving grace. It is the only reason I'm going to be able to eat in this town. It's because eggs there are $4 and bay leaves are $4. Like they should be. Like who cranked those prices up $10 each? That's crazy. It's fucking crazy. Anyway, I'm doing great. I can't wait to go to Saint-Tropez. The next time you guys see me, I will be in a hotel in Saint-Tropez, and we're going to bootstrap a little episode together because you know me, mama's going on vacation, but I'm taking my besties. I'm taking my babies. Pack your bags, grab your passports. We're going to Saint-Tropez, honeys. Okay, you guys, there's one more thing I want to talk to you guys about before we leave, because we're all going together. No, I do have to go. I have to go get a spray tan and a blowout and do all of the things before I leave for Saint-Tropez. I'm leaving tomorrow night. I still have to pack. Oh my God, I need a personal assistant. I need someone else to just do my life for me. But there's one thing I want to talk about. And I'm going to say right now, there's spoilers. There's spoilers here. If you guys haven't watched Maternal Instinct, turn the podcast off if you want to watch it, because I need to talk about this motherfucking documentary. This is the most haunted fucking documentary I've ever seen in my entire life. And I was trying to tell a friend the other day to watch it. I was like, you have to see this. It's the most unhinged documentary I have ever seen in my entire life. And she's like, isn't that the one where a woman like kills a baby or something? And I was like, yes, but that's not even really the problem. Like that's not even top 10 of the problems here. So basically the documentary starts, and this isn't a spoiler, it starts with this woman getting pulled over. She has a baby in her lap and she's covered in blood. She goes to the hospital. The blood's not hers, the baby's not hers, and she said she just gave birth to this baby. The baby's dead. Then this whole documentary pops the fuck off about this woman who is basically just this fucking pathological liar, and she couldn't physically have babies anymore. She had already had 2 and she had a hysterectomy, and she was with this guy who they hadn't been together that long, but he wanted her to be in love, and she was like, oh, if I get pregnant with this kid, he'll love me. And then she like buys a fake pregnancy belly and does all this deranged shit. Like, you want to talk about committing to the fucking bit. Like, I think we could all commit to the bit more. Like, this documentary taught me that we could all be fucking crazier. We have not been letting our freak flags fly, and we need to a little bit. Like, this woman faked an entire pregnancy, and then I won't completely give away what happens, but like, this bitch plotted and plotted and plotted, and then, all right, I'm going to say it. She fucking murders a woman who's pregnant and cuts the baby out of her and is trying to pretend it's her baby. In what world is that ever going to work? In what world is that going to fly? And I think we can all just be crazier. And she had a long history of lying. She had a long history of pathological lying about illness, which is something that I think is so interesting, because this is something my mom did. My mom would often fake illnesses, because I think there's a medical term for it. I could be wrong. This is when it would be nice if Mike was here. I think it's called malingering. I could be wrong though. When you have a mental illness, but you're not getting the attention you want for the mental illness, so you fake a physical illness, because what you want is sympathy and attention. And you want that because of your mental illness, but you're not getting it. So you're like, oh, if I have cancer, I will get the attention I need. My mom at one point was saying she had lung cancer. She never had lung cancer. She had an avian bacterium infection, which is like a lung disease, but she didn't have lung cancer. And it's just such an interesting phenomenon to me. These people that will just go to such great lengths to get attention instead of just going to therapy. I'm like, hey, babe, take yourself to the fucking therapist. Pop your little tush in a therapy chair and figure out what the fuck is wrong with you before you cut a baby out of a woman to pretend it's yours so some guy will say he loves you when he never loved you. Oh, it really stresses me out. The whole documentary gave me nightmares and stressed me the fuck out. So if you don't want nightmares or to be stressed, I wouldn't watch it. And also, I just ruined the whole documentary for you. So I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. But I did tell you to turn the podcast off if you wanted to watch it. Bruh. That documentary gave me nightmares. Like I told you, I'm already not sleeping right now. Insomnia is a motherfucker. I mean, a good night's rest can really cure anything. You know, I was so excited. Last night was my first night where I was like, I'm not going to take any sleeping pills to sleep. I'm just going to sleep. I don't have anything to do this morning. I'm just going to get through the night. I'm going to fucking raw dog it. And I fell asleep on my own by the grace of God. And then a fly that got into my apartment decided it was fucking on like Donkey Kong. This fly kept fucking landing on me. I kept thinking I was getting bit by mosquitoes. I forgot about mosquitoes, you guys. I am from Wisconsin. So this weather that's going on in New York right now is very similar to Wisconsin. Like hot summers, buggy, muggy, the whole nine. I'm so spoiled. I'm so used to living in LA where it's just 72 and sunny all the time. The weather's perfect. There's no bugs. There's nothing going on. Nature's not trying to fuck with you. This whole city's trying to fuck with me. Oh, another thing I will say is the trash trucks. It feels like an inside job. The garbage trucks, it feels like 9/11. I'll be honest. Like it feels like an attack. I think they come every night. I don't think they have a night off. And it's like between 3 and 4 in the morning, they're just like, doosh, 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 like banging outside of my windows. I'm like, what? I understand that this city is filled to the brim with trash, and I don't know what they're doing with the trash. I think they're just sending it off to sea. I'm pretty sure there's a floating island of trash shit in the middle of the Hudson. And I know the Hudson's not the sea, but you know what I'm saying. I'm pretty sure there's a trash island somewhere. I wonder what the rent's like there. I wonder if it's cheaper to live there, because maybe I'll move to Trash Island and just become one with the trash. Return to my roots, you know. Once a trash bitch, always a trash bitch. And so yeah, that's it. That's all I've got for this week. I know it's a short episode. I'm sorry. I'm cramming. I'm struggling to get this shit done. If you are doing the artist way with me, come on the little journey with me to do the artist way. If not, besties, and you want a little more tea, come to the Patreon, because the Patreon is where it's motherfucking at. And I'm in there and I'm responding to your comments. And if you guys have any questions, if you want to DM me anything, I'm in there. I'll respond. I'll say what's up. I'll kiki with you guys about whatever. I have nothing better to do. The next week I might be a little touch and go because I will be in Saint-Tropez. But after that, I am free like a bird, free like my little trash shit birds that are on my balcony, that I love so much. These birds are my little spirit animals. And you know what? Every once in a while, I'm just ripping a cig, talking to a pigeon. And that is what my life is looking like in New York City, babes. But I do have to stop smoking cigarettes. It's getting old, and it's going to make me old. It's going to age. It's aging me like the devil. And I'm like wheezing. I'm like, it's not a vibe. But anyway, besties, I love you so much. Thanks for hanging out with me in my monochrome apartment and chairs. And I'll, have a panic attack about it next week, I'm sure. Okay, week 9 of The Artist's Way. You guys, we are recovering a sense of compassion this week. And you know what? I didn't read this chapter, so I have to do that right now. Bye. All right, you guys, did I have a nuclear mental breakdown earlier about the color of these chairs? I sure did. But then guess what? I contacted Quince, the place I got them from, and they're like, we can just swap them out for the taupe ones and we'll come get these. And I was like, would you look at God? That is just another you guys, I had full body anxiety earlier. I almost canceled my trip to France because I was like, I can't go to France when I look like I'm levitating, when I look like I'm Aladdin on a magic fucking carpet doing this podcast. So anyway, I got a blowout. I emailed Quince, and now everything's fine. And baby girl's going to France. We're not going to worry about the fucking chairs that match the walls. We're not going to have a mental breakdown like that again. And that is something that I need to put in my God box. And just remember, next time I'm having a fucking freak out, a fucking panic attack. And for those of you who don't know what a God box is a place you put a situation that worked out for you just fine, but you freaked out about it in the moment. So this one's going in the God box. And yeah, soon it's going to look better. The production on this podcast will be higher quality. I'm very sorry, you guys, that we're in this shit together like this. But you know what? At least we're together. And I love that. All right, you guys, come hop on over to the Patreon. Mama's got tea for you. I want to hang out with you. And the hill I will die on is that the Patreon's not public because you have to pay to get there, And so So it's not public. It's private. It's just the three of us having a sleepover because we're girls and we're braiding each other's hair. That's what's going on in the Patreon. We're braiding each other's hair and telling each other secrets, and it's a safe space. And I think I got the ops out of there. I don't know if I got the ops out of there, but come join us on the Patreon. And I have, for those of you doing the Artist Way with me, I do have the Artist Way, and we're going to do that because I promised you that we would. Where's my book? Life is so hard. I found it. Mike, I know you were so worried about me. I wonder if Mike even watches this. I don't think he does. Anyway, you guys, we are on week 9 for the Artist Way Besties. Recovering a sense of compassion. This week is so important. Okay, so we name our behavior incorrectly. If we're an artist that wants to create and we don't, we often call ourselves lazy, but we're not lazy, we're blocked. And we have to move through those blocks with compassion in order to get to the other side, in order to make anything. So this is not merely inaccurate, it's cruel. Saying that that's laziness, it's cruel. Accuracy and compassion serve us far better. Being blocked and being lazy are two different things. The blocked artist spends energy on self-hatred, on regret, grief, and on jealousy. Do not call the inability to start laziness. Call it fear, because that's what it is. We're fucking afraid, right? It's fear of failure, fear of success. Most importantly, fear of abandonment, fear that we create something from our hearts and people don't like it. I struggled with this immensely when I first started stand-up full-time. I'm like, I pour my soul out on stage, and when people don't like it, it hits different, because I'm not like Jerry Seinfeld. I'm like, oh, what I noticed about public restrooms is da-da-da, you know? Like, no, I'm like, my mom killed herself 3 days before my wedding, and when people don't laugh at that, I'm like, I feel completely exposed. So there is a fear of putting something out there that people don't like, and if it's so special to you and so you're so vulnerable that if they don't like it right away, then perhaps we could be in a bit of a pickle, right? Fear has its roots in childhood reality. Most blocked artists tried to become artists against either parents' good wishes or their parents' good judgment. For youngsters, this is quite a conflict. So this is interesting. My experience is actually different. I didn't become a creative person out of I wasn't rebelling against my parents, right? Like, my dad always wanted me to have a 9-to-5 and to have stability. My mom always was like, you're going to be the most famous person in the world. And there was such a crushing amount of pressure to be good at things that I genuinely was not good at. Like, she would drive me to Chicago once a week to go to acting classes, and I stunk. I was so bad. I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't even feel like, literally for the first 13 years of my life, I didn't feel like I was even in my body. Like, I didn't connect to myself. I couldn't connect to people around me. I couldn't connect to an audience when I was on stage. I really had such a complicated relationship with my mom that whatever she wanted for me, I did not want. So I spent my life rebelling against everything my mom wanted for me. My mom worked out 24/7. She ate healthy. She had a bit of an eating disorder. And she wanted me to be a fucking actress. And I was like, I'm going to eat McDonald's all the time. I'm never going to work out again after I'm done with high school volleyball. And I'm going to get a day job. And I did all those things. And I accidentally found creativity. I didn't think, oh, I'm some creative person that's like dying to break out of this shell. But what I did find is when I worked in advertising and I was writing, I didn't like that the clients told me what was good and what wasn't good. I liked being my own North Star. So that's how I found it. I found it by happenstance. But a lot of blocked creatives are people that wanted to be creatives and their parents urged them to not be. And then, they do it against their parents' will. And then you have to be great, right? And then you have in your mind, I have to be great. I have to be the best singer. I have to be the best writer. I have to be the best director. I have to be the best. Because if I'm going to rebel, I have to be the best. And that is such a high bar that it's hard to get started when your expectation is to be the best, right? Because then you're just setting yourself up for this crushing level of disappointment. And I have done this in my life before, where I launched right after right before the pandemic, I launched something called Ho to Go, which was this brand. It was like an overnight bag for girls who went out to clubs, went home with dudes, and in the morning you have to like wake up and put dress and your dress and your heels on, and you have like crusty makeup on your face, and you don't have to, like, it's a bad place to be in. So the Ho to Go bag was like leggings, t-shirt, sunglasses, makeup wipe, Advil, hair tie, little jewelry pouch, a tote for your bag or tote for your clothes from the night before, like flip-flops. It was like this whole thing. And I was like, I'm going to be on Forbes list next year. Look out, Kylie Jenner, because I'm going to be on Forbes list. Guess what? I wasn't. And then the pandemic hit and hoes were not going. Hoes were held hostage. And I had to donate all of those bags to a women's shelter. And here's the thing, because my expectations of success were so high that when I didn't hit those marks, it felt crushing. There was no greater failure in my life than Ho to Go. And I felt so sad. But when your expectations are just to start and just to get in the mix, then all you ever are is pleasantly surprised. And that has been my experience with comedy, is I just wanted to get in the mix. I just wanted to throw my hat in the ring and let everyone know that I had one or two things to say. I didn't have expectations to be the best or to be the greatest or to be anything. You know, I have no lofty goals, and not in like an impending doom way, even though that is my brand, just in like I do not expect to be the highest paid comedian. I don't expect to be in the conversation of the top 10. I don't have any of those expectations. I just want to speak my truth, and whoever it resonates with and whoever it helps heal, those are my people, and that's it. That's the only reason I'm creating in this field. And so I think that's important. So yeah, what I said is the need to be a great artist makes it hard to be an artist. The need to produce great work of art makes it hard to produce any art at all. You need help from your higher power, from your friends, from everyone in order to get anything out. For me and my first special, you know, Ho to Housewife, I called everyone I knew from advertising and I said, homies, we're phoning in a favor. Can we throw this special together? And I had some friends like bootstrap it, and it went great. Like, I was talk about synchronicity. The universe lined up with that and was like, yes, the clips went viral. Like, the numbers were great. Everything worked way beyond my wildest dreams of how I ever expected it to work. And then here's the other thing. We need enthusiasm, right? Enthusiasm is, in the short, it's talking about discipline here, right? Like, discipline is important, but enthusiasm is really what you need. By its very nature, discipline is rooted in self-admiration. We admire ourselves for being so wonderful. But over any extended period of time, being an artist requires enthusiasm more than discipline. It's a spiritual commitment, a loving surrender to our creative process, a loving recognition of all of the creativity around us. Enthusiasm, from the Greek word filled with God, is an ongoing energy supply tapped into the flow of life itself, grounded in play. And here's the thing. I will hear people out for the case that discipline is important. I really think it is important. I think if you sit down to write once a week or twice a week or 4 times a week, however many times you sit down to write, something will come out. You cannot wait to be inspired all the time. You do need to have a bit of discipline, and there does need to be a bit of a schedule. But what needs to come with that is enthusiasm, which is the energy to bring something beautiful to life. And just remember, your inner artist is a child, and it needs to be treated as such, and the only way to really get kids to do anything is to play. And so you just have to remember to be playful. Even though it might be a little bit structured, there does need to be a sense of play. And just be cognizant for creative U-turns. You know, when you're about to reach success, or when you're about to put something out and you want to fucking turn around and you want to abort ship, you want to burn it to the fucking ground, look out, because that's fear. That's a blurt. That's something that you don't want. When I was about to put out Ho to Housewife, I emailed my manager and said, I don't want to put this out anymore. I'm going through a divorce. I'm not a housewife. None of this is true, and I don't want this to exist. And he respectfully told me to fuck off. He said, respectfully, we have the deal. We have the launch date. It's happening. We're putting it out. And thank God for that, because left to my own defenses, I would not have put out Ho to Housewife. I would have not put out Horny. You guys know how much I fucking hated that special. The only special I would have put out is Sorry Dad, which is the least viewed special. So it's just interesting. Just remember, you do not always know what's best. And if you're getting close to creating something or accomplishing something and you try and steer the ship so it crashes onto the shore, Just know. Just know that's very normal, but just don't do it. So you got to blast through your blocks, right? In order to work freely on a project, an artist must be at least functionally free of resentment, which is anger, and resistance, which is fear. Remember, your artist is a creative child. It sulks, throws tantrums, holds grudges, harbors irrational fear. Like most children, it's afraid of the dark, the boogeyman, and the adventure that isn't safely scary. Your artist, parent, and guardian, its big brother, warrior, and companion. It falls to you to convince your artist it's safe to come out and play. So yeah, you guys, it's week 9. We're fucking cruising here. I'm so proud of you guys for doing this. I know there's at least 10 of us doing it. Don't forget your tasks. Don't forget your artist dates. Don't forget your morning pages. I'm going to be so honest. I haven't been doing morning pages because nothing. Because I haven't been doing them. Because I don't know where my journals are in all of my boxes. And I ran out. My journal that I was journaling in ran out the second I moved to New York. And so I haven't been doing that. And just because I said it out loud, I'm going to start tomorrow. I'm going to open these last 4 boxes and I'm going to find it. If you're doing the work, I'm really proud of you, besties. DM me, let me know where you're at, how it's feeling, what's shaking loose. Some of you have sent me some really cool messages about things that have happened in synchronicity and thoughts, feelings, all the things. So just let me know how it's going, besties. Okay. I love you so much.